Hey there, it's Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. So today I'm going to be giving you guys a September wrap-up, and actually I read a lot of books this month. A lot of books. 20 to be exact. Yeah, I'm not really sure how that happened. I think that is the most that I've read in a month at all this year, and I'm really happy with it. So I'm going to try not to talk way too much like I'm doing right now, and let's just get into the wrap-up. So the first book that I read this month was Striker X by Negus Lamont. This book is a game-lit fantasy sci-fi book, and it was okay. I feel like I really liked the concept of this book. I liked the idea that characters had to level up, and there were certain like classes of characters, and then they'd go and battle these monsters. I liked the idea of it. I just feel like the execution was a little bit off for me. It felt a little bit surface level, and I didn't really connect with any of the characters. But if you enjoy game-lit sci-fi, then it might be one for you. It just wasn't really for me. So next up I started on the thriller books that I asked you guys to pick randomly from my shelves, and we're starting off with The Chalkman by C.J. Tudor. So the premise of this book is that a bunch of kids in the 80s kind of use these chalkmen to communicate with each other, and the chalkmen lead them to a dead body, and we'll just leave it at that. I found this book a little bit too closely related to it, with the different characters, like the group of friends. All of the characters in it were quite closely related. There were some sort of spooky sort of elements in it that were also reminding me of it. I also guessed the end. I didn't enjoy this one as much as I thought it would. Please look up the trigger warnings. I am going to say one right now. There is animal death in this, and I feel like there's only one animal, so you'll know which animal it is, but like, that really, really upset me. I can handle as much like human death or whatever. I can handle that. I just don't want to read about animals dying. I just don't. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't think it was necessary to the plot. It was like just like an extra thing that happened, but I was like, really, I'm not interested in reading about that, so. Again, I had problems connecting with any of the characters because they were all kind of just not likable. It was okay. I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. Then I picked up Check Please, Sticks and Stones, which is volume 2. Oh my god, this book is so cute. I cannot recommend this series enough. Oh, it's just really cute and fun. If you like college sports, but with like cute romance, and it's gay, and I'm like, yes. And Bitty makes so many pies, but he's also a hockey player, and it's just really cute and so much fun to read. I can't recommend it enough. Also, I cried at the end. It was 5 out of 5 stars. Next up, I picked up the chunkiest book on this TBR, and it was Inferno by Dan Brown. I actually like this book. It was actually a really nice change from the last book, which I didn't like so much because it was about the Masons, and I'm not like big on the Masons, but this one was based on Dante's Inferno, and being a literature student back in the day, I'm intrigued by Dante's Inferno. I like this one, had core purpose. I think that this one and Angels and Demons had that whole, you've got to get there by this certain time or bad things will happen. And I like that about them. I also thought this was really weird to read during a pandemic, because if you didn't know, this book is about a race to stop a virus from being released. It was weird. It was really interesting to read, though. I know this isn't the most highbrow of fiction, but I had fun. It was a fun thriller, and I enjoyed myself with it. And then I watched the film, and then I thought, wow, Tom Hanks looks old. But it was an alright film. They changed the ending. Because that's not what happened in this book, but I didn't think that they were going to include the ending that happened in this book, because I was like, mainstream audience is probably not going to like what happens in this. So it was a good book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up, I did a buddy read with Kayla from Crack Into a Good Book, and we read We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. This book is about a girl called Saphira who is a hunter in this sort of weird mythical wood thing. And she's the only one that can get in and out without being driven crazy or getting lost or something like that. And it's also about the Crown Prince of the land, who is a merciless assassin, and a bunch of other characters that all end up going on a journey looking for this lost Jawarat. And it's interesting. It's like attempting to bring magic back into the world. I can say that I really, really loved the world building at the beginning of this book. I thought it was really immersive. I really enjoyed the culture. And just overall, the beginning of this book was really strong. And then like, the middle happened, and the end happened, and it kind of just fell off a little bit. It was a little bit like the characters were just running away from their problems, but like for no reason. And then when the villain was introduced, it was kind of like, but we're really close to the end of this book, so it just didn't quite feel the best pacing for me. I almost feel like you could combine this book and the sequel and just smush them together, because it also left it on a really weird cliffhanger with a character that you don't really spend any time with at all. And I was like, do I care? I don't know. So, yeah, I will definitely pick up the next one, and I'm definitely read more by Hafsweiser. I think she's a really interesting author. I just feel like it wavered a little bit towards the end. I still gave it 4 out of 5 stars because I think that the world building was really strong. I really like the female characters. Oh, the only thing I do have to say about Saphira is that she definitely flip-flops about her feelings sometimes, and I'm not going to say why because it's a spoiler for something that happens, but it kind of got on my nerves a little bit, because at one point she was like, oh, I'm sad about this, and then she's like, that thing happened, and you're like, make up your mind. Anyway, 4 out of 5 stars, We Hunt the Flame. Next up I picked up Room by Emma Donoghue, and this book is about a woman who was kidnapped and kept in a room, and she ends up having a child with the person that is keeping her there. So it's about her and her son who live in this room and they can't get out, and it's told from the child's point of view. So it's really interesting. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. I know quite a lot of people get frustrated with the narrator, and there was times when I was like, child narrator is weird. Like, I did get a little bit grossed out one time because there's this whole thing with a tooth that, like, one of the mum's teeth falls out, and then he keeps it, and like, it just was a bit gross to me. Like, particularly towards the end. No spoilers. If you've read it, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But I was like, oh, children are gross. Obviously, I am not a parent myself, because it's probably not that gross if you're... no, it was gross. It was gross. Children are gross. Anyway, this book was good. I really liked it. There was a section in the middle that was just really, really compelling, and I just had a good time with it. It's obviously a very triggering book, so look into the trigger warnings for this. Obviously there's like rape and kidnap and abuse and that sort of thing. It's quite harrowing. There's also a couple of other things, so just definitely look it up if you're interested in reading this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Play Dead by Angela Marsons. And, okay, so this book was going really well for a little while. I really liked the main character. I thought, you know, she's flawed, but like in a sort of alright way. I quite like her as a detective character to follow. So then there was like some instant nope. I rated this book 1 out of 5 stars, and that is because I really did not enjoy its representation of gender and disabilities. So, one of the characters in this book has a tendon that is shorter on one leg, so I think one of her legs is shorter than the other, and she gets called all sorts of slurs, and that wasn't very nice to read about. I don't want to spoil it, but if you have also been put off by J.K. Rowling's latest release, then don't read this book, because it's kind of the same sort of thing, except I don't know if it's intentional. Obviously there's some sort of trauma, but nothing is ever explained, and I don't think it's a very good portrayal of gender at all, and I just felt icky reading it, because it was just like not well done, and not done in a way that does nice things for trans people. Let's just leave it at that. It was not good. It was an instant 1 star for me when I realised that that was what was happening, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. So, 1 out of 5 stars, yeah. Then I picked up The Vanished Man by Jeffrey Deaver. This book is a Lincoln Rhyme mystery. Lincoln Rhyme is a former policeman, I think he was a police detective, who is now quadriplegic and still investigating. I think he's a forensic criminologist. Okay, so this book was good. It basically is about following a killer who is also a magician and uses magic tricks. So it took me 70 pages to get into this book. I was like, I'll give it 100 pages, because it's a 500 something page book, and I was like, I'll give it that long to get into it. At the very start, there's so much info dumping, and I was like, can we get on with it a little bit? There's a lot of like big fancy criminologist words, which is great to include in there, but I don't need to know 7 million of them and their definitions in the first 50 pages. So once I got past that bit, I got to about page 70 and I was like, oh, this is quite interesting, because it started to get into the bits about the magic and sort of going into all of the illusion and that sort of thing. And I was like, this is quite interesting. And then it got more compelling overall and I just enjoyed it. I liked Amelia Sachs, who is the other detective, who is also, I think, dating Lincoln Rhyme, and they're just chilling. I like it. It was a good book. I was a bit nervous going into this one because I read another book in the series and I didn't really like it that much because I thought it was like way too long, but yeah, enjoyed it. Definitely pick up another book by Jeffrey Deaver. I was like, this could be the nail in the coffin for Jeffrey Deaver, but it wasn't, so that's good. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave this wrap up here and I'm gonna do a part 2 because I don't want to make this video overly long, and I'm just gonna put it in a part 2 and then we can consume shorter videos, because I don't know about you guys, but I really struggle with long videos. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!